Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome to another broadcast of the Nexus gaming series. I'm going to be your host for the evening, The Sound, and tonight we are bringing a Division B East matchup between 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers and ReGen Immortal. Tonight's series is going to be a best of 3, and this is actually a pretty exciting matchup for the standings implications. We'll get to that a bit later. Talking a little bit about our two teams, ReGen Immortal is technically a new team for this season, but they were built out of many of the former pieces of ReGen Nebula. Lots of their members have kicked around that organization for most of their NGS careers. So a lot of familiar faces on the side of ReGen Immortal. And a bit of fun note, Feral Hoggers also a new team this season, and they are coming in with a bang, going undefeated thus far. Enough talking about them, let's look at the standings, shall we? And as we can see, we've got ReGen Immortal and 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, both with a bunch of wins under their belt. A domination tonight will bring 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers tied for 4th place with ReGen Immortal. So, some potential exciting standings shifts. And let's take a look at our map bans. So, Feral Hoggers won the coin flip and opted for first pick. And our map bans for this evening, ReGen Immortal banned out Firaxis and Towers of Doom, with Feral Hoggers banning out Sky Temple and Infernal Shrines. The map that we are going to pick by ReGen Immortal is going to be Battlefield of Eternity. A exciting map for vision play, an exciting map for the importance of the objective. One of the most powerful objectives, I think, in HOTS. The emphasis on getting a strong race, getting all of your DPS to fight well under the Immortal makes a lot of sense for most drafts. But we'll see how our two teams approach it. Checking in on the lobby here, it looks like we are waiting on one from ReGen Immortal, so we may have some time to stall. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. It's great to have you all here, and I'm sure our two teams will be happy to have you guys here to cheer them on as well. It's always a great pleasure getting to cast these NGS matches for the community and seeing that community engagement. So thank you to everyone for tuning in and for all of the follows. I might end up becoming a Twitch affiliate just by accident with all of this generosity in the following department. So thank you, everyone. And it looks like Big Double already rooting for Feral Hoggers. This is Feral Hoggers' 4th match of the season, despite it being week 5. There was a scheduling snafu, it seems, and so one of their matches had to be pushed back. And so that is another thing worth noting when considering their position in the standings. They have not played as many games as their peers, and so there are still points for them to win and or lose on the table. Checking back in with our teams, see if they've got an ETA. I hope everyone in NA has had an excellent Labor Day weekend. Perhaps enjoyed fine weather if there was fine weather for you to enjoy. A cookout, time on a boat perhaps. Variel saying that it's good to see more NGS casters. I appreciate it. I have been enjoying my experience. This is my first season casting for the Nexus gaming series. And so far it's been lots of fun. The audience, you all, have been very kind and inviting. The teams have been a lot of fun to coordinate with, and learning to talk quickly enough to keep up with the team fights and HOTS has been challenging but rewarding. Plus 40 degrees, I imagine that means Celsius, Fig, which is good on you. I am silly and use Fahrenheit because my school system was not smart enough to teach me Celsius. All right, give me 1 sec, everyone. I just want to check back in with our lobby. Let them know that I am ready. And feel free to sound off in the chat with who you believe is going to come out on top. If we are going to see 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers get tonight's domination and secure that tie with ReGen Immortal, or will ReGen Immortal stave off this new team, hold on to their 4th place spot? I'm excited to see how it goes down. Looks like we are just waiting for one more ready. And we should be getting into it shortly. Oh, excuse me. Just had to stretch a little bit. And it looks like we will have a sub playing for ReGen Immortal. Someone was held up, perhaps in traffic, perhaps at work. A little more back and forth between the two teams. And we're just about there. There we are. Let's get into the draft. With first pick on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, I'll be interested to see how they prioritize their bans, if they've done a fair bit of scouting and have some targets concocted for ReGen Immortal, or if they're going to stick to more meta things. The Stukov ban, not a bad healer. Certainly can be good on the map, but that doesn't strike me as a generic ban. That does feel a little bit more targeted at ReGen Immortal's hero pool. And we see a Garrosh ban coming out from ReGen Immortal. This is a great mat for Garrosh. Being able to use all of the fog of war around the objective pit gives him a lot of different angles to sneak up on enemy teams, being able to displace them into Immortal stuns for extra damage and lockdown. And a Blaze ban for Feral Hoggers. Perhaps the strongest offlaner in a vacuum in the pool, given our current patch. I say current patch because I'm sure a lot of you have heard that there have been changes to the PTR patch, which might even end up on live servers. So that could be exciting. Patches for HOTS. A Johanna ban now from ReGen Immortal. A strong hero, not a sturdy presence on the front line. Doesn't leverage her wave clear as much on Battlefield of Eternity with it being a 2-lane map, but the blinds can really stall out a lot of different race heroes. Not so strange to see the ban there. The priority pick from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers here looks like, I'm going to guess Vala? Yeah, it is going to be a Vala first pick. An excellent hero for the map. Able to race on the Immortal with either Q build or AA build. Protoss Rule has shown some prowess on the hero this season thus far. Not surprising to see Feral Hoggers pick that up early. And it's a Li Ming Anduin response. Li Ming, great poke for the objective. Able to chip away at Immortal HP from a good distance. And the Anduin, of course, a sturdy presence in the healing slot, an excellent cleanse. Urel over to the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, followed by Diablo. So both frontliners locked in now. Likely we will see a further frontline choke from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. No healer on the side of the home team, so I imagine we will see a healer ban here from ReGen Immortal. Perhaps Brightwing, a Deckard ban. Fair enough. A great map for Deckard with his ability to distribute healing over time, especially after 13 with super healing potions. Really the best support for those extended poke wars. A Genji ban now from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. We need damage and front line for ReGen Immortal. Likely to see one of our frontliners picked up here, if not both. Were I them, I think I would leave the last damage available. Looks like it's going to be a Nubarak Greymane. Greymane, excellent at racing on the Immortal, brings a % damage answer to Diablo with Cursed Bullet if they look for that. A Nubarak, an excellent target for Light Bomb from Anduin. Final two picks here from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. It's going to be the Brightwing and final damage. It's going to be a Chromie. Another good hero for long-range poke. Our final pick, perhaps an offlaner if we're going for a more standard comp. It's going to be a Sonya. Sonya with Leap able to get onto all of those squishy heroes. Not so surprising to see it. And let's take a look at these drafts as we get ready for our first game of the series. An excellent race comp on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. ReGen Immortal also building for both a poke and a fast racing scenario, Greymane and Li Ming. A far sturdier front line for the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. So I'll be interested to see if ReGen Immortal are able to secure those Li Ming resets. It might be tough to get through that Diablo, but it's hard to say who's going to come out on top. That's why we play the game, so let's get into it and introduce our teams. Here on the left side, in blue, we've got 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Kalkin playing Yrel, Akari on Brightwing, Random Task on Diablo, Jaeger playing Chromie, and Protoss Rule on Vala. And to the right, in red, we've got ReGen Immortal, Kurama on Anduin, Austin on Anubarak, Jinji-Mex on Li Ming, Murda on Sonya, and Rift playing Greymane.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Quick pause to double check if skins are healthy. Great. We'll see if they do a good old count in here. All right. Looks like we're getting back into it. And let's take a look at our level 1 talents here. We did go for a Q build on the Vala, getting that another pause happening here. Interesting, interesting. Hopefully our teams are able to sort out what's going on quickly after the concern about the Li Ming skin. But it is unclear what is going on with our teams. Yanthor thanking me for casting tonight. I'm happy to. Crushinator had to call off on the last minute, but he reached out to the NGS community to see if any of us could fill in for him. Luckily, I was able to answer the call. Let's get back into it, as our teams have resumed. We were talking about level 1 talents. We've got Q Quest from Chromie, Q Quest from Vala. A lot of damage going on to Random Task, drawing the phase shift from Akari. No stacking talents on the side of ReGen Immortal. Taking a look up in top lane for a moment, we've got Kalkin and Murda trading back and forth. Looks like the Sonya is getting the better end of that trade. Back in bottom with our core 4. Random Task taking a lot of punishment once again. Able to mitigate some of that damage with the Soul Shield at level 1. But with such a big chunk, it looks like ReGen Immortal are happy to get onto this bottom siege camp. Austin slowing rotations here. Random Task getting very healthy now, but they're falling pretty low. Unfortunately, the Q gets interrupted there, so they are unable to hit the point before it gets captured. Great play by ReGen Immortal to recognize that Feral Hoggers were too low to defend themselves. So it's a good neutral grab for them and a small experience boost to boot. Looking at our minimap, we can see Greymane sneaking up to top lane now. So perhaps looking to sneak that camp, but it seems like they are showing up there. This 4v3 on the side of Feral Hoggers may allow them to get a little bit of siege damage onto this fort front wall. And checking in on the top lane, Rift and Murda working diligently on this neutral camp. Kalkin able to find them as they capture it, but no sooner. Level 4 is on both sides now, and we've got a W build from our Diablo with that Souls to the Flame at level 4. Chromie opting for Endoral Anomaly, increasing the number of time traps available to her. We've got both of our teams capturing their shaman camps. These camps are very important for the objective because of how much push they can do on their own. So we'll see how ReGen Immortal and Feral Hoggers look to prioritize race versus side lane clear. And it looks like ReGen Immortal are happy to get their Greymane onto this Immortal as quickly as possible. Rift wailing away here. So a quick halftime win on the side of RGI. Experience looks dead even, and we still have Yrel in top here. So a lot of damage potential onto the blue team's Immortal. Interested to see if Feral Hoggers are able to sneak any of their heroes away to start racing, or if it's going to be a full 5-hero defense. Kalkin jumping in, able to boop folks away. Murda getting another great stun onto random task. Wall banging here. The fight hype is getting hectic. Austin caught on the wrong side of the fight here. No burrow charge available. Kalkin very low. A vault in from Protoss Rule will not secure the kill onto the Anubarak. Getting out with just a sliver of HP. Yrel also having to back. So the stalemate continues. Gingimex is getting a lot of damage in on this Diablo, with the Triumvirate at level 4 getting resets on those arcane orbs. And with the red team Immortal health starting to dwindle, they know that some of Feral Hoggers have broken off to race, able to secure that first objective. No harm, no foul. We've got stuns out onto Kalkin here. Taking so much damage is Yrel, able to get out with sub 300 HP. Getting a lot of value from their level 1 Dauntless there. And a relatively healthy Immortal. Level 7s, of course, online for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers means that Protoss Rule has the Monster Hunter, which seriously increases how quickly Vala is able to shred through this boss. Or this objective, I should say. And so it's going to take about a third to perhaps just a quarter of top fort. And in bot lane, looks like a little bit of siege was secured by Sonya. Akari falling very low. Burrow charge in onto random tasks now. Rift coming in for the Razor Swipe. And here is an E to Q. Great cleanse from Kurama. Gets Austin out alive. Really well played by both of these supports in our killless game. We'll see with neutral camps up how our teams split it up. We've got ReGen Immortal opting for top camp, and in bottom we've got Kalkin on Yrel starting on this bottom siege camp. Murda realizes that that means the rest of Feral Hoggers are likely to rotate in, playing it safe by their gate. Really heads up rotation. Back in top lane, we've got Anubarak and lots of siege damage available for the side of RGI, so we'll see how they approach this push onto top fort. A 5-hero commitment from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers now, looking to take as much advantage of their level 8 Chromie Spike as possible. It is slowing sands from Jaeger. A great zone control tool around the Immortals. And with them spawning in 10 seconds, that is the go signal for our teams to start up the Shaman camps. A little bit of a late grab for them, but they'll be on time enough. About a third of a level away from our heroic talent tier for the rest of the lobby outside of Chromie. And that's Souls complete on the side of Random Task. That Black Soul Stone will allow them to respawn much faster. Kalkin looking to stall as much as they can. Level 10 secured for both sides. We'll see if that starts the shift towards a large fight. It looks like we've got blue team starting to collapse down onto RGI. They back up safely. But of course it's 3v5 here on the Immortal. Gives Protoss Rule the option to get a little bit of Monster Hunter value here. A slight lead on the side of the race for Feral Hoggers now. But it looks like they're able to zone them off a bit. Random Task pops that Soul Shield, and this is where that Chromie value, a leap in onto the Brightwing, that's the first kill of the game, going over to RGI, but they're not done. That's onto Diablo as well. Rift falling low here. Protoss Rule taking a lot of damage from Murda. Kalkin able to get out alive perhaps, pops the Ardent Defender, and able to escape. So 2 kills over to the side of RGI. Really well played, and a decisive engage from Murda, who is taking a lot of punishment from Diablo here. Able to get out just in time. Gingimex peeling with the wave of force there. Objective progress still in favor of our blue team. Feral Hoggers securing halftime in spite of their hero losses. There is a experience lead on the side of ReGen Immortal, so not all is lost, and they've got a lot of damage done on the Immortal. Random Task taking a lot more punishment. Oh, gets out with just under 600 HP. Murder chasing in, unable to finish him off. Kalkin doing a good job on the top side of the fight to distract from their Diablo. Austin burrow charges in here. Able to escape. Jaeger biting off more than they can chew here. One more Razor Swipe from Rift will secure it. And that's another kill going over to ReGen Immortal. Protoss Rule playing on the top side, able to get these hungering arrows in, but that's going to be the end of our Urel player most likely. Another kill, 4-0 now on the side of ReGen Immortal. So it's a full level lead for them, but it is a half HP Immortal, half shield HP Immortal going over to the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. An interesting trade for me to consider. I think you're pretty happy with that trade if you're on the side of ReGen Immortal. That is a rough place for Rift to get stunned, but Austin and Gingimex able to do a lot of peel and lots of free clear onto this Immortal too. Both Brightwing and Urel playing in the bot lane. Here comes the phase shift from Brightwing now. Akari interrupted. So no phase shift available for a short cooldown. And it looks like about half of the fort HP is going to be eliminated. Level 13's in the hands of our blue team, or our red team. ReGen Immortal still about a half level away, or ahead of Feral Hoggers. And checking in on our experience, it looks like that is all coming as a result of the hero XP that they're securing. Those 4 kills have done a lot to put them ahead. We once again have a Nubarak with his beetles and a siege camp. I think that's going to be a lot of damage going onto this top fort here. We'll see how long Feral Hoggers are able to stave it off. Polymorph and Wallbang onto Austin there. Takes this cleanse from Karama. A little bit of HP left And it looks like RGI are happy to back off here. Stun onto Rift. But the turnaround goes on to Random Task here. That's the first kill. Gives a reset to Gingimex. Kalkin jumping in, but it's a bit too late to save the Diablo player. Level 13's on both sides, but that is likely to be the first structure of the game going down. Akari and Jaeger both standing pretty far ahead here. Great polymorph from Akari to keep their DPS safe. All the while, Murda has been working diligently on this bot lane, getting a lot of siege damage done as Kalkin has rotated up. Checking in on our level 13 talents. We've got Velen's Chosen on the side of the Yrel player, really amping up the amount of damage that she can do. And it's here and there for the Chromie player, so we'll look to see if Jaeger does any cheeky swaps. A massive Immortal Burn lead over to the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. That is the Murda getting caught here, polymorphed and booped, able to get away, but the Hungering Arrow following him to the death, so that is a kill over to 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. They're looking for more. Wallbang onto the Anubarak secures another kill. 2 for nothing in that fight. A great win for them. That's going to buy them enough space to finish off this Immortal. And with lots of experience collecting in top lane, thanks to ReGen Immortals, Shaman Camp pushing against them, they are getting a lot of comeback XP here. Still about a level behind, but that will close shortly, I expect. And Anubarak won't be back for this defense in a timely fashion. And it is a very healthy Immortal. This is a lot of threat for our red team. We could see this absolutely take the bot fort. And we've got Murda setting up on the top side of the fight. Leaps in onto 2, followed up by the stuns. A great stun from Kurama now. Rift able to secure that. And so it's 2 for nothing, but they've left the Immortal unattended. It looks like they're going to start wailing away here. Level 16's on both sides. And that level 16 W talent from Yrel, the Templar's Verdict, doing a lot to chunk through that Anubarak HP. It looks like we're going to get a fair bit of damage onto the bot keep wall. But rotationally, we've got 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers ahead of RGI, able to secure the Shaman Camp in bot. Of course, on the top side of the map, we've got Murda working on the other Shaman or Khazra camp, so still trading camps evenly, and still a fair lead in experience. They will achieve level 20 sooner than Feral Hoggers if the experience keeps this pace. RGI now setting up, looking to get as much out of this siege camp and catapult as they possibly can. They see Yrel on the bot side of the map. And it looks like that's going to be the go button for them to try and rotate down, maybe look for a kill, or perhaps just some safe beetle siege onto the bottom fort. Kalkin doing as much as they can to chunk Rift out. And so about half a fort there. Austin gets flipped. That's the cleanse from Kurama. They do still have a charge of that available to them thanks to their level 16 talent, Glyph of Faith. You really like to see that min-maxing of the Anubarak trait there. Kalkin on the flank gets a jump. No ult available for the Yrel. Akari taking so much damage goes down to the Sonya there. Turning around onto Random Task. Looks like that's going to be 2 for nothing. And likely going to be the bottom fort to fall here with Leaning and Greymane sticking around. We've got Murda heading up to the objective to start racing. And it seems as though RGI are happy to keep pushing here. 30-50 Feral Hoggers, of course, can still make the defense here. Their Immortal HP burn with Vala is almost unmatched. Looks like they are contesting the Bruiser camp, able to make it out alive. Still waiting for a few, for about a half minute for the Urel ultimate. So I was surprised to see Kalkin step up so aggressively there. Halftime now achieved for ReGen Immortal. A full HP Immortal will be challenging to defend even with the Monster Hunter from Vala. 28 stacks is a lot for that level 1 Q quest, but even so, this could take a keep. Both lanes have a catapult behind them, and RGI are able to tag this Bruiser camp before it despawns. Really heads up rotation from them to proc that camp.
The demon moves for
About a quarter level away from Storm Talents are our red team. 1.5 levels still for 30-50 Feral Hoggers to close. Of course, Chromie already has her Storm Talent, that Piercing Sands at level 18. And almost eliminating all of the shield HP from the Immortal, closing into melee range here. But of course, this is a late game. Boy, he's doing a lot of damage. Austin burrow charges in, unable to find anything. Murda leaps in onto Protoss Rule, able to get away. Random Task taking a lot of punishment here, pops the Soul Shield. Rift looks for the kill, able to get a cleanse. No more available, so that's going to be death for our Anubarak player. Immortal able to take a little more than 30% of Feral Hogger's core. They are chasing in, unable to get any further CC onto ReGen Immortal, but they are certainly not done with this push. A dismount now onto Kalkin. Gingimex landing that Arcane Orb to try and slow this rotation. And we've got Protoss Rule finishing off this siege camp fast as can be. 31 stacks now on that level 1 quest, and Storm Talent's right around the corner. Likely to be the Farflight Quiver for Vala. And that's it. That is a big power spike for her. She's now able to siege this keep outside of the range of the keep, and that, coupled with the level 16 Manticore, puts a lot of pressure on Murda and Austin on the front line. In top lane, of course, we've got Rift pushing with this siege camp, getting the catapult closer to this keep, able to secure some legitimate keep damage here. But of course, catapults regularly get stuck behind minion camp or mercenary camps, and that bums me out. That Pierce from Chromie really starting to do some damage onto Gingimex. They've been positioning very well on the Li Meng, but the long-range poke of Chromie is quite powerful now. Still a catapult available in top lane, but Feral Hoggers are in position to race on the Immortal much sooner than our red team. Cocoon onto Urel here, does have Seraphim, does have her ult, able to Seraphim, pops the ultimate there. So that is an ultimate trade. Great boop. Here comes the stun from Diablo. Murda going in. Kalkin hits another Seraphim. Gingimex falling so low. Random Task able to get out with the Soul Shield, taking a bunch of damage from the Greymane's ultimate there. And it looks like this is going to be a full shield Immortal going over to 30-50 Feral Hoggers. Some really close calls there on both sides. Kalkin Hearthing here gets stunned. Seraphim now able to jump over the wall. Austin gets onto Protoss Rule. Random Task gets the stuns onto Anubarak, but Li Ming secures a kill. They're looking for more onto Protoss Rule. Jinji unable to secure one with a repulsion, and Akari blinks over the wall. So a heavy commitment from the side of ReGen Immortal. It means they're going to be a little bit late to arrive to this Immortal defense. Luckily, they do have a fort in lane, so they've got a lot of building HP to play with. And Rift really rips through this Immortal, thanks largely to his Eager Wolf talent. I believe that's, yeah, level 16, increasing the attack speed bonus of Inner Beast. So he's just ripping through Immortal HP. And despite a convincing objective capture, ReGen Immortal able to stay ahead on the structure front. We've got in bot lane 30-50 Feral Hoggers securing the siege camp, kind of relieving that catapult pressure. And in top, we've got ReGen Immortal grabbing the same. A classic Battlefield of Eternity late game stalemate. Neither team feels comfortable getting caught far from safety, but also they don't want to let these camps get stolen away if their opponents get brave. So we've got ReGen Immortal capturing their Shaman camp. 30-50 Feral Hoggers, having eliminated 2 out of the 3 minions, are happy to guard this camp a bit longer. And with RGI showing on the map in bot lane, they're happy to secure that camp. Checking in on top, Kalkin thinning these waves as much as possible. And that is our next Immortal phase announced. Blue team in top lane are going to have to get down to the bot side to relieve this pressure that is mounting. RGI doing a great job pushing out these waves, trying to put as much threat of catapults onto the core of 30-50 Feral Hoggers, but it also means that they are unavailable to set up for the defense here. It's going to be a race to halftime, it looks like. Austin stepping up here, trying as much as they can to zone. Kalkin jumps in onto Kurama there, pops the Seraphim. The leap goes wide. Random Task taking a lot of damage. Austin now, the one in trouble. First kill over to the side of 30-50 Feral Hoggers. The web wrap onto Vala, unable to stop them there. Kalkin looking for more, jumping in. And a great time trap captures Murda, but a timely cleanse from Kurama gets the Sonya player out once again. And relatively safe spawn positions for the ReGen Immortal side. They are able to chip away at this HP, or at this objective HP. We've got 2 catapults in bot lane working on the core of 30-50 Feral Hoggers, but Akari is there to handle it. They likely have phase shift available, and so they are able to continue pushing out those waves. We will have Austin back on the Anubarak for the defense here, and about a half of the HP bar from shielding. A lot of the race of ReGen Immortal comes from Rift and his Worgen form. Jinji eating a stun, able to shift. What a great blink. The cleanse from Kurama as well. So no cleanses available for Anduin. Rift really needs to be able to get onto this Immortal in Worgen form if they want to burn it down as quickly as possible. Austin taking so much punishment from Protoss Rule. And it is still a very healthy Immortal. Murda has been taking a lot of punishment on the bot side from Yrel. Protoss Rule able to do a lot of damage from a safe distance here. The engage goes on to Random Task. Murda has to leap out. Immortal is on the core here. Murda gets the cleanse from Kurama. A web wrap onto Vala here. Are they looking for more? 30-50 Feral Hoggers sticking around. Unconcerned. Looks like they are going to fall back here. Gingimex and Rift chasing on 2 Feral Hoggers. But it looks like they're going to make it out totally fine. And with that, we'll have Feral Hoggers break off, start this top siege camp, and in bot lane, ReGen Immortal will do the same with Rift using the Hunter's Blunderbuss to clear that very quickly. We are truly on a knife's edge here with a clear path to core for both teams and nearly equal core HP. If there is a decisive team fight win, that is likely to be the game. The slight delay in camp timing from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers means that it might give ReGen Immortal an opportunity to contest if they desire. They've still got Murda in top, cleaning up that wave a bit, but they are taking this rotational tempo advantage to step up here. A little bit of a bush party happening now. We'll see how 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, they choose to rotate directly to top lane. Concerned about that camp. And here come ReGen Immortal, perhaps thinking about feigning a backdoor attempt. But of course, we've got camps pushing on both lanes for 30-50 Feral Hoggers and a lot of long-range poke onto the objective. Kalkin in the back, unseen. Murda looking for a similar angle. Austin taking so much damage from Chromie. Bot keep is likely to go down if it goes unattended. The catapults may clean that up. Murda found on the top by Kalkin there. Stuns onto the... Oh my gosh, so much damage onto Random Task. Appeal with Rain of Vengeance. There goes Murda. Austin looking for more. Unable to secure it. 2 kills now on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Random Task falling low. But not too low. And it is a decisive fight win for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, but they are comfortable securing the objective. A full HP Immortal is definitely a huge threat, a safe play. With only half of a keep's HP left in bot lane, it is unlikely, even if we have our ReGen Immortal team get onto the Immortal as quickly as possible, I'm not sure that they're going to be able to stop this push. We will have Austin and Murda back up for the defense. Gingimex stepping out really far, understanding that Kurama is close by with a leap of faith. But here it comes. We'll see how ReGen Immortal look to defend here. Kalkin jumping in. They are opting to fight past. I think 30-50 Feral Hoggers are happy with this outcome. It's going to be a kill onto Random Task. They'll respawn with their Black Soul Stone. A little bit of damage onto the Immortal, but it's still mostly healthy, as are the heroes on the side of 30-50 Feral Hoggers. Kalkin falling low. A stun from Murda secures 2 kills, but it's 17% left on the core HP. That's going to be GG. Well played. A tense one, but in the end, a win for our blue team. And what a match that was. As mentioned in the pre-game during the draft, it really is a strong objective for Battlefield of Eternity, and so able to secure those late-game objectives means that you are likely to win. 30-50 Feral Hoggers doing just that. Taking a look at our stats, we can see a lot of damage from Chromie and Li Ming, both peppering in lots of poke. And checking in on our builds, we of course had that Q build from Vala, transitioning into the Manticore and Farflight Quiver, an Inner Fire from Anduin at level 20. Not one I'm accustomed to seeing, but the extra armor definitely helpful into the damage profile that they were up against. Well played to both teams for our first match. And so we are on track for a potential domination for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Once again, to remind everyone out there, if Feral Hoggers are able to secure the domination tonight, that will get them in line standings-wise, points-wise, with ReGen Immortal. So a fair bit at stake here. Thanks to everyone who tuned in during the game. Happy to see everyone. This is the second time I've gotten to cast 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, and last time I did, one of the folks in chat mentioned that they are late game comeback champions. I don't know if that comes from their experience scrimming against them, but it seems like they are willing to play these scaling comps. The Chromie and Vala both scaling pretty hard into the late game, as does the Diablo. The more fragile front line of the ReGen Immortal comp had a hard time at the end there, playing footsie, with Chromie able to pepper in so much damage, and Brightwing offering so much passive healing. A lot of the poking that Feral Hoggers were able to do was largely unanswered from ReGen Immortal. Of course, ReGen Immortal looked really strong on their map. Perhaps the name ReGen Immortal indicating that they enjoy playing the map of Battlefield of Eternity, with its objective being centered around Immortals. Just a fan theory over here. Let me know what y'all think. I'll be interested to see who goes for, or rather, I'd be interested to see if ReGen Immortal opts for first pick or map pick here. In my experience of Division B, most folks seem to prefer first pick over draft or over map pick. And it's hard for me to really know which I prefer. I think there's a lot to be said for feeling comfortable on a map, especially if you're able to practice a bunch of different comps for it. Really having yourself dialed in there can really benefit you there. See if we've got a lobby here. We should shortly. Looks like we do. Alright, for our next map, we are headed to Tomb of the Spider Queen as picked by 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. A very different map from Battlefield of Eternity, a lot more tight rotations. It really is all about the laning phase. It is kind of a constant laning phase. So I'll be interested to see how our teams adapt to this new requirement of the map. And I will let both teams know that we out here in TV land are ready to go whenever they are. Who in chat is rooting for ReGen? Who wants to see a 3-game series? I know I do. More hots is always the right amount of hots in my mind. So let's see how they perform on this map. And we're getting into the draft. There we go. First ban now from ReGen Immortal. I'd be interested to see if any of the heroes from last map draw the ban hammer, or if they believe that the map is different enough and requires a strange enough approach. Well, not strange, I'm sorry, but a unique approach. I'm gonna ban the Garrosh again. Seems that their scouting data has told them that Random Task likes the War Chief, likes to toss enemies around. A decent Garrosh map as well. As mentioned, it is a lot about those tight rotations, and so Garrosh able to kind of guard those well and put a lot of threat onto heroes looking to rotate through. Junkrat ban from 30 to 50 feral Hoggers. Another strong hero for the map, offering lots of vision control through basically every one of his abilities. And some of those offering persistent vision with his Steel Trap and Concussion Mine. Second ban here, we're going to see if it's another targeted one. Ban onto Blaze. Blaze banned away in both games. And it is a Johanna ban. So, wave clear of the utmost priority on this map. We'll see how ReGen Immortal look to prioritize their first pick. We still have Brightwing available. We still have Hogger and Urel available. First pick Sylvanas. A sturdy hero. One that is potentially going to be affected by that maybe patch that might happen. Maybe. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how 30 to 50 feral Hoggers look to respond here. It's going to be a Lucio Hogger. Lucio, a great healer for the map, able to do a lot of terrain riding along the objectives, gets a lot of safe stalls from your enemies turning in. Speeds up those rotations in that tight corridor. Would love to see ReGen Immortal grab a healer here ahead of the next ban phase. Maybe lock in their offlaner as well. And it's a Stukov Diablo. Stukov banned away from ReGen Immortal last game, so we'll see how Karama performs with the Admiral. Third ban here. Still no offlaner on the side of ReGen Immortal. And it looks like the Maiev ban coming out. Maiev, a very strong hero when piloted by the correct person. Perhaps also hinting at a comp that wants to join together a lot for the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers and not wanting to give the opportunity for lots of your Maiev resets. And it is a Tychus ban from ReGen Immortal, which makes a lot of sense. Diablo feels very vulnerable to the minigun of Tychus, especially after level 4. Next two bans here, or I'm sorry, next two picks. Both damage and tank available, and it looks like another Chromie for Jaeger. Performed very well on it last round. Not surprised to see them pick it again. And it's going to be Hanzo Leoric for the last two for the side of ReGen Immortal. Final pick here, 430 to 50 Feral Hoggers, one more damage dealer. Vala is still available if they want to run the same damage profile. Trades favorably with the front line there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it picked up. And it is the Vala once again. Protoss Rule really enjoying that hero. And so here are our comps going into Game 2 of our series for the evening. Lucio and Chromie offering lots of vision control for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Hanzo able to do a fair bit of vision control himself with his Scatter Arrows and Sonic Arrow. I think if 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers are able to scale into the later game, I like the potential for them to take it in 2, but there is still a lot that ReGen Immortal can do to mess that up. We'll see how it goes. Let's get into the game and introduce our teams. Here on the left side, we've got 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, Kalkin playing Hogger, Akari playing Lucio, Random Task on Muradin, Jaeger on Chromie, and Protoss Rule playing Vala. And to the right side, in red, we've got ReGen Immortal, Eric here on Sylvanas, Kurama on Stukov, Austin on Diablo, Rift playing Hanzo, and Gingimex playing Leoric. So a bit of a roster swap for ReGen Immortal. Getting into it on our level 1s, we've got a W build Hanzo looking to stack up the simple geometry quest at 1. And it's an auto attack build for Protoss Rule on the Vala. Those Gambit talents can scale pretty well. Lots of damage onto Random Task. They're going to be able to heal up through their trait, Second Wind. And first mid-wave clear goes over to the side of 30-50 Feral Hoggers. Of course, that is important because of those tight rotations that I keep talking about. It really is all about the tempo advantage here in the early game. A heavy commitment to the bot lane. We've got Chromie, Jaeger holding down the fort while Kalkin on the left side starts up the bruiser camp here. Of course, ReGen Immortal responds in kind, sending Kurama and Eric here both over to start on their bruiser camp as well. Kalkin gonna have to Hearth after that first camp grab, and it is a long stagger for ReGen Immortal to get their camp out. Looks like they are able to stall the bruisers of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers right under their gate. A 2-hero commitment to the bot lane here on this siege camp. Gingimex is going to be able to sniff it out. That likely draws the rotation from the rest of ReGen Immortal. Stun now onto Jaeger. flip over as well. That's going to be first blood going over to the side of ReGen Immortal. And likely a camp secure as well. Gingimex falling low, but Akari and Kalkin unwilling to get into the fight. In the mid lane, the Bruiser camp from ReGen Immortal getting a fair bit of siege damage done. Likely due in part to Erekir's use of the black arrows from Sylvanas. Level 4 talents on both sides, of course. We've got another W build from Diablo. Explosive arrows from Rift on the Hanzo is really going to increase the wave clear on the side of ReGen Immortal. Random Task eating a flip, but that's a stun onto Kurama. No damage follow-up, unfortunately. And turn-in is now available for ReGen Immortal. We'll see how much our blue team is able to stall them. Eric here able to drop 14. Only 5 gems required for the turn-in here, but that's another kill onto Jaeger. Crummy stepping a little too close to the wall. And Diablo reminds them who the Lord of Terror is. Looks like we've got a pause there. So we will take a quick break to see how long it takes. Looks like we've got a little bit of lag on the side of the blue team here. So thus far we've got Jaeger taking a lot of punishment from Austin on the Diablo. Really decisive shadow charge engages from them. I'll be interested to see how the time trap placement adjusts from them. Maybe they'll be able to cover themselves there. Lucio, of course, at level 10, getting the high 5 will be a big boon to dealing with all of that CC on coming out from Diablo. Conflicted mentioning that Vala might be risky into the Leoric. That could be true. I think there is a fair assumption that if Leoric is able to land the Entomb on Vala, that will be a challenging spot for them to be found. But it really comes down to the vision control. You know, if Leoric is able to get the flank, it is probably going to be hard for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers to respond to it. But with Jaeger opting for the Andoral Anomaly again, means that they've got lots of time traps available to cover vision of those flanks. Oh no, come back. We are close to level 7s on both sides, so they may be available for the first turn in of the game, likely going over to our red team, and a slight XP lead for them. Of course, that is coming from the hero kills onto the Chromie. And it looks like we are still doing a fair bit of waiting for our teams. Here we go. Should be getting back into it shortly. Excellent. Three gems turned in by Kurama. Not going to be enough for the objective. Still 2 needed. Rift likely to turn them in on the top side here. And level 7s in the hand of ReGen Immortal. Growing Infestation now available for Stukov. Going for that full E build, starting with low blow at level 1. And a lot of damage going onto the fort front wall here. A great stun from Austin. Random Task doing a good job kiting to the far side of the silence pool, so that they could get the leap out. And Jaeger and a Protoss rule are able to do a lot of damage onto this Webweaver from safety. So fort front wall in mid to go down, a massive wave in top. Austin guarding that rotation there, gets a lot of damage onto Jaeger. Random Task leaping in for the defense on the back, and we do have black arrows available for Eric here. Souls complete already from Austin. Another stun onto Protoss rule. Austin is relentless on this Diablo. And that's going to be a fort secured with first objective. Level 7s on both sides. But we still have a pretty healthy Webweaver for ReGen Immortal. Kurama trying to zone people away from that front gate, using that lurking arm to secure a keep tower there. Checking in on bot lane. About 3/4 of the fort, maybe 2/3 of the fort secured there. So a very productive first objective for ReGen Immortal. It is a great start for them. About 1/3 of a level away from level 10. On the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, they've done a good job holding on to their gems. They've died twice, but still have most of their gems available to them. ReGen Immortal now falling down to this bottom siege camp, able to secure that. Of course, 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers respond in mid with their Bruiser camp. Austin gets the stall into Random Task, attempting to turn in 28 there. And level 10's now in the hands of ReGen Immortal. We'll see how they look to get aggressive with this heroic talent tier advantage. But it looks like they are instead opting for the slightly slower macro play, getting out their Bruiser camp in response. Perhaps looking to push with it and Sylvanas, getting value out of that Black Arrows. Genji Mechs now turning on the top side, perhaps not. In bot, we've got Austin and Eric here looking for Kalkin on the Hogger, but he spins to safety. Austin stepping up here, threatening as much as they can. Still a large wave available on the side of ReGen Immortal. 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, able to keep pushing them back without taking too much structure damage, though. Austin face checks the Muradin. Great stun out from Rift. Stuns now onto... That's a lot of damage. There goes Hogger. Akari getting out with Random Task. The Entomb, unfortunately, does not secure anyone, but Black Arrows and Sound Barrier both come out. A time loop onto Genji Mechs. Massive swipes from Kurama resets the engagement, and mid-fort is taking a lot of punishment. A decisive engage there from Rift. Excellent timing on the follow-up from Austin. ReGen Immortal looking really crisp with that combo. And Random Task looking to turn in on the top side, unable to secure it before ReGen Immortal get their gems in the bank. About a half level away from level 13. And of course, we never talked about heroics, but the shockwave from Hogger could do a lot if they're able to get onto the Stukov here. No cleanse and very few save mechanics available for ReGen Immortal. So we'll see if 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers do what they have often done, fallen behind early and come back with a serious late game. Crummy with 24 stacks on their Q quest out of the 40 required. Vala able to get one completed stack of their Gambit talent, getting a stack every 50 levels. Great stuns, and a huge follow-up with the Silence Arm. Kurama resets the fight again with that flailing swipe. Random Task pops the Avatar. A massive wave here, still working on the bot keep. That is a 930 keep. That is a lot of damage. Level 13, still a half level away for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. They're still holding on to all their gems. Akari and Random Task both holding 40 or more, but ReGen Immortal aren't satisfied to back up yet. They know that their talent tier advantage is still in effect, so they get the rest of mid-keep front wall. 120 gems in the pockets of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Another strong team fight win from ReGen Immortal onto the right targets could be disastrous for the economy of Feral Hoggers. In bot lane, we have the Siege Camp picked up by ReGen Immortal. Jaeger able to sniff out Austin in that bot bush using the time trap. Even talent tiers for both sides, but a strong vision advantage on the side of ReGen Immortal, thanks to their minion waves being so far out. They're looking at boss here. We've got Rift guarding this turn-in. Random Task, unscouted, gets the slow and the stun. Huge flailing swipes from Kurama, able to save his Hanzo player. Wailing Arrow into the Dragon's Arrow, into the APOC. That's 2 more kills. Gingy Mex catches 2. Protoss Rule gonna go down here. An objective secured for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, but at the cost of 3 heroes. That is going to be a free cleanup for ReGen Immortal, a decisive teamfight win. They lost a lot of gems there, still holding on to more than 40 on Random Task, but lots of gems lost through Akari and Protoss Rule. The objective didn't even scratch a fort, getting a little bit of damage on the mid-fort wall. And with Protoss Rule still in the graveyard, ReGen Immortal immediately transitioned to boss in top. With a talent tier advantage and turn-in available and a boss pushing, it is possible that ReGen Immortal are looking to end the game with this push. We'll see how they approach it. 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, making sure that they're staying active. Secure the Bruiser Camp in mid. It's going to relieve some of the objective pressure at a minimum. Ultimate's still on cooldown for ReGen Immortal, but they are almost online here. Boss down to half, but top keep is already eliminated. APOC combo onto Protoss Rule. A huge Dragon's Arrow, or Dragon Strike. Dragon's Arrow. Man, that's a lot of damage onto the Leoric. Leoric falling so low. Of course, the boss is on core now, and the Webweaver has arrived. So we'll see if... Looks like ReGen Immortal are interested in backing up. Gingy Mex falling a little too low for them to get too aggressive there. And happy to transition to mid lane. Black Arrows is up and available once again, shutting down this mid keep. Stun from Random Task onto Austin. Returns the favor with a wallbang. And that's mid keep to go down. No keeps alive on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Still looking for level 16s. With Webweaver in mid still alive, it looks like ReGen Immortal are sticking around, seeing if they can't find an engagement onto 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Talent tier secured there. Austin dismounted, but Random Task does not Dwarf Toss and look for the engagement. realizing that they've got too much to clean on the map. And the kill count has been truly one-sided. 7 kills to 0. We have had a fair bit of scaling available to our blue team. 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers are getting stronger as the game goes later, but it's not as if ReGen Immortal are not scaling. Diablo is getting strong, and we are only a level away from Storm Talents. That's where we're likely to see a Silence and Tomb from Leoric. Actually, with a Stukov, we might not. We might see a Burning Despair at level 20, offering armor and area damage. Lots of people don't necessarily think about the level 20 Entomb talent decreases the time that Entomb stays on the field. So with a Stukov Silence Puddle available, Eric here taking a lot of damage here, gets the Unstoppable. There goes the Wailing Arrow, misses unfortunately. Lots of damage onto the random task. There go the gems, there goes the Muradin. Level 20s in the hands of ReGen Immortal. Their siege camp is on core. We'll see if 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers look for the defense. Entomb unavailable. They don't need it. Able to get another kill, this time onto Hogger. There go the core shields for Eric here, taking so much damage. Takes out Protoss Rule. Oh, Jaeger able to just sneak into the Hall of Storms there, but gets the kill onto Eric here. Time loop onto Gingimex now. Falls to an excellent Sonic Arrow stun from Rift, and that's going to do it for Game 2. GG, well played to both teams. That was intense. That was a rather one-sided affair, frankly. The decisive engages from the Diablo that game, Austin really making that hero shine. Definitely something for Feral Hoggers to consider in the next ban phase. Taking a look at our stats. And we've got a fair bit of damage on both sides. Nothing really sticks out to me. The big thing that sticks out to me, of course, is the experience. Sylvanas and Leoric both contributing an awful lot of XP on the side of ReGen Immortal. Checking in on our builds. We had a W Dense Blasting Powder focused build from Hogger. Your classic auto attack from Vala. And of course, Storm Talents secured for the red team. This means we get a Game 3, folks. This is exciting. It's what we all wanted. More HOTS. With their map win after a map pick, I'd be interested to see how ReGen... wait, that gives Hoggers the choice. I've got $10 that says Hoggers will always pick first pick. It's just a hunch. The team is kind of the founding philosophy I got to try out for them early on, and so I know a little bit of the lore here, but their kind of game approach is informed heavily through the by the Nexus Schoolhouse Discord server run by Cavalier Guest, former HGC coach. And so I expect that they will have a sturdy standard approach, sticking to the formula, as it were. And knowing that they picked first pick in the coin toss, I expect to see it here as well. I will also say Eric here on the Sylvanas, going for the Wailing Arrow pick, I think that is, at this point in the meta, somewhat underpicked in Sylvanas games that I see. It was the standard for a very long time until... thank you for the follow, Murder. Until the level 20 Dark Lady's Call upgrade, which gives massive cooldown reduction to the talent. Able to look for a pick with your ultimate every 20 seconds, every 15 seconds or something like that. But, worth noting, into a Lucio, those sort of pick tools are far less appealing, with High Five being such a powerful cleanse. So I think a great choice from Eric here to go for the AoE silence. And, of course, Akari adapting as well, realizing that with so much wombo potential on the side of ReGen Immortal, that the sound barrier was the tool more likely to save their team. I will also say it was admirable how long 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers were able to hold on to their gems. They were losing lots of players, but with the speed boosts from Akari and the great terrain covering jumps from Random Task, they did an excellent job picking up lost gems. So, well played to them, but it did look like a really comfortable map for ReGen. Picked by... I have that wrong on this map. Picked by... There you go. Picked by Hoggers, won by ReGen. And this is always something that I love about 3-game series. It always tends to be teams lose on their map pick. So lending credence to the idea that first pick is an important part of the metagame. Akir's Sylvanas being that first pickup was able to get a lot done on the map. So we'll see, depending on where we end up, if we see another prioritization onto that hero. Of the maps available left to play, I hope we go to Cursed Hollow. Final answer. Yeah. I love Cursed Hollow, personally. The dynamic of the objective being able to be skipped in favor of a more impressive macro or tempo play, the importance of boss control. There are a lot of nuances to the map that I find really rewarding. Which isn't to say that the other 3 maps, well, there are 4 available. I really hope they don't take us to Garden. I hope I'm not alone, and you find folks in chat agree, but Garden of Terror is not my favorite map. It goes really late. It doesn't have a great objective for finishing the game on its own. So if I had my druthers, we wouldn't go there. But we'll see how it turns out. And we do have our final map pick. Looks like we are going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, as picked by ReGen Immortal, giving 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers first pick for the draft. Something that I did not note before the game started was the roster swap that ReGen, or I should say lineup swap, that ReGen Immortal was able to do between games 1 and 2. Eric here coming in for ReGen Immortal. Perhaps that has something to do with their dominant performance on Tomb of the Spider Queen. The Sylvanas play was good, of course, but there's also always the external factors, non-game, more meta factors that different lineups bring through their comms, through their map awareness. Let everyone know in the lobby that we are ready to go. And we can get into our third in the best of 3. Here on Volskaya Foundry. Vril, D-Shire is my fave. Yes, that is a great map. I love D-Shire as well. Yeah. Perhaps it's my off-lane me hit hero, I like to hit hero brain, but Dragonshire is a favorite. And also rewards a lot of great rotations. A really macro rotation intensive map. Volskaya, of course, another map that is known to go late. And it looks like we are getting into the draft. And we are not getting into the draft. Kind of unlucky. Looks like we had a disconnect on the side of ReGen Immortal. So hopefully our teams are able to sort that out quickly. Getting back into it, the discussion about the map, Volskaya Foundry, the Protector, not the most powerful objective on the map. I think the real kind of pitfall for it is that it requires 2 heroes to get the most value from, one in the driver, one in the gunner position, of course, and that can leave the other 3 heroes on your team rather vulnerable to your enemies fighting past. So with that objective not necessarily being the strongest, we'll see who or how both teams approach the objective. It is not uncommon to see folks forego it in favor of a split push comp. Perhaps another opportunity for Eric here on that Sylvanas. Let's do the draft. This time for real. Although waiting for players does not bode well, I will admit. Excellent, excellent. First ban, it's going to be Stukov. They did not care for Kurama's Stukov. Hard to blame him. Got a lot of value with the Lurking Arm. We'll see how ReGen Immortal respond here. If they look to ban out either Chromie or Vala, both favored by Feral Hoggers in games 1 and 2. Sticking with the Garrosh first ban. A pretty solid map for Garrosh. Garrosh benefits on maps where you have to go stand on a specific spot for an objective. It decreases his burden of having to go out and find and engage. Another Maiev ban. Seems to be a bit of a target ban. A great Maiev map with the propensity of comps to clump up on the objective, and Johanna, the last ban. Blaze first pick. First map where Blaze was available, getting banned out in the first 2 rounds on both of our previous games. I think it makes a lot of sense. He is a very strong hero, offers a lot of utility in team fights with his stuns and his slows, and also can do a lot of protection for his team via bunker. Muradin and Deckard are first picks on the side of ReGen Immortal. An early pick Deckard may hint at a cleanseless comp from ReGen Immortal. Alternatively, that could be a double support comp. If so, if it is a cleanseless support, Li Ming and Diablo. Right now, Jaeger is on the Li Ming. I'd be interested to see if they don't pick up... Well, they're unlikely to pick Chromie with a Li Ming locked in. Still no healer on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Likely to see a healer ban here from ReGen Immortal. And it's going to be the Anduin. Not interested in the Leap of Faith interrupting any of their CC chains. Of course, there are still plenty of other cleanse supports available. It's going to be a Mephisto ban from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. A real menace on the map. Scales extraordinarily well into the late game. Next 2 picks here, both damage and offlane available. With both frontliners up, perhaps, we'll see, Leoric burning that percent damage, and a Zul'jin. Zul'jin, a niche pick that lots of teams enjoy on this map. The Protector does count as a hero, and so giving the first Protector to allow Zul'jin to stack is a strategy that some folks enjoy. We'll see if ReGen Immortal takes that tack. Last 2 picks now for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Damage and healing. Right Wing and Sergeant Hammer last pick. Wow. Another late game powerhouse outranging the Zul'jin, which can make it challenging for him to get stacks, perhaps. Lots of poke damage available for the Li Ming as well. Last pick from ReGen Immortal. 1 more hero, perhaps another healer, perhaps a damage dealer. It's going to be the Falstad. Excellent. Falstad, perhaps there for the Gust plays. I've seen plenty of Falstads do some wild fly gusts to try and displace Sergeant Hammers. There is a fair bit of lockdown for the Sergeant Hammer in the form of Leoric and Deckard, of course. So Blaze and Diablo are going to have to do a lot of healing and zoning from ReGen Immortal's aggression. And 30-50 Feral Hoggers really looking to keep Red Team at bay for as long as possible. Let's see how they fare in this, our 3rd game of the night. The one for all the enchiladas. On the left side, we've got 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, Kalkin on Blaze, Random Task playing Diablo, Jaeger playing Li Ming, Protoss Rule on Sergeant Hammer, and Akari on Brightwing. And to the right, in red, ReGen Immortal. We've got Kurama on Deckard, Gingimex on Leoric, Rift playing Falstad, Austin on Muradin, and Eric here playing the Zul'jin.
4.
As we get into our first wave, it seems as though we've got Sergeant Hammer splitting to top lane, opting for the advanced artillery at level 1. A pretty common pick for Sergeant Hammer from what I've seen. And I like what 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers are doing here. Knowing that Eric here wants to hit heroes as frequently as possible, they are doing as much as they can to hide from the Zul'jin. Zul'jin opting for Recklessness at level 1, offering a faster stacking opportunity. And in top lane, we can see Rift responding to Protoss Rule. Austin gets the stun onto the random task here, able to kite out of the root from Kurama. So no major fireworks just yet. 1 minute marks the spawn of all of the objectives, which is to say all of the mercenaries on the map, and we have 30-50 Feral Hoggers starting theirs up right away, getting onto this fortification camp, the turret, as we all call it, or gun. And on the right, ReGen Immortal does the same with Kurama and Eric here. To the top side of the map, we've got Rift working on the siege camp. And we'll see if either team feels that they are advantaged enough to go for the neutral healing camp. Checking in on our XP. Pretty much neck and neck, a slight minion XP lead over to the side of ReGen Immortal, which pushes them over the edge to their level 4 talents. It's going to be rubies from Deckard, hammer gains from Falstad. Falstad opting for that Q at level 1 Gathering Storm. Yeah, Gathering Storm. Level 4s on both sides, another W build from Diablo, and we've got Regenerative Biosteel from Sergeant Hammer, choosing to get Lifesteal rather than the Unstoppable Siege Tactics.
We've redesigned our tree-glove protector for combat in the Nexus. Prepare to begin field.
A pretty strong minion XP lead on the side of ReGen Immortal now, about a half level ahead of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Checking in on our stacks, we've got 3 of You Want Axe. That's 15 total for those at home.
Tree-glove terminal online. Take control of the mech.
Great. And in top, we've got Protoss Rule getting busy on the fort. Kurama and Rift doing what they can to zone them out, but Random Task is here to support that stun. Eric here finally able to hit some heroes here. Gets a handful of stacks. But with that push in top, it looks like Jaeger, Protoss Rule, and Akari are not done yet. Happy to keep pushing this top lane. They've already got a tower. Likely to look for more. Kurama, Austin, and Gingy Mex playing around that objective. First objective channel was secured by 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers just for a bit. And Eric here keeps zoning out the blue team. On the top side, we've got Austin jumping in onto Protoss Rule. Rift able to get a bunch of damage onto the Sergeant Hammer, but Jaeger answering back with damage of their own onto the Muradin. They're likely to heal up through their trait. And ReGen Immortal able to get another turret available. 30-50 Feral Hoggers answering with their own. In top lane, we still have Sergeant Hammer pushing away Protoss Rule. Boops away Rift, but skedaddles when they don't see the rest of ReGen Immortal. Hoggers now have scouted out this camp take from lots of rubies on the ground here. Austin falling low, loses the camp. a timely phase shift from Akari, able to keep the blue team up. With Blaze in bot lane, I was pretty certain that that was going to go over to the side of ReGen Immortal, but the threat of resets on Jaeger was just a bit too much for our red team to stomach. First objective secured by ReGen Immortal. Level 10s just around the corner for both of our teams. We'll see how they prioritize the siege available to them. Looks like they're headed straight to bot lane.
Blue team has taken control of a protector.
And the siege begins. All of front wall on bot lane goes down. A 4-hero commitment with Sergeant Hammer up in top lane, fending off Kurama and Eric here. Able to scoot out of the route. Level 10s on both sides. Gingimex looking for an entomb over the wall, but with the tower still up, Protoss Rule is safe behind their gate. Checking back in with the robot. They cleared a wave. It was cool. Here come the rotation to top lane from 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. Protoss Rule. Oh, a really early Tostingo from Eric here. Worried about Random Task taking a Shadow Charge engagement. Maybe looking for the APOC as well, but that is a big cooldown to lose. We'll see if Feral Hoggers try and get aggressive with the knowledge that they are up a heroic ability. Speaking of, we've got Bunker, Apocalypse, Disintegrate, Napalm Strike, and Blink Heal on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, and it is Stay a While and Listen, Entomb, Gust, Avatar, and Tostingo on the side of ReGen Immortal. Both teams grabbing their fortification camps. A slight siege advantage on the side. Wow. Lots of damage now on to Gingimex. Probably going to go down. Random Task get dismounted by Eric here. Eric here able to peel, and on the top side, 3-on-1. 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers lose their Sergeant Hammer. That kill first in the game is going to put ReGen Immortal slightly ahead to the level 13 talents in their hands now. We'll see how they look to play with it. Rift able to get the fly out. An excellent use of the Unstoppable on the Z. Kalkin gets the stun onto Austin, but we've got a lot of stacks now. Gust onto Random Task into the corner. 13 popped by Deckard, and it is Glass Cannon Li Ming. Jaeger not concerned for their safety. A lot of damage coming out from Eric here. Does have the Tostingo available again. Able to secure the kill onto Kalkin. Random Task taking so much punishment here. 2 for 1 on the side of ReGen Immortal. Of course, on the bot side of the map, we have Protoss Rule pushing away, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop Eric here from taking this fort down. Random Task respawning with their Black Soulstone, and Austin stepping up, gets the stun onto Brightwing here. Another level 13 from Deckard coming out. That Ancient Blessings amping up all of the auto attack damage from his teammates. So in bot lane, Sergeant Hammer able to secure most of the fort, perhaps all of it here. None of ReGen Immortal making the rotation here. Kalkin getting a huge stun onto Eric here. Pops the Tostingo. Sleep lands onto the front line of our blue team. A gust in onto Kalkin. Gets another big stun. Rift falling low. Jaeger able to blink away. So the fort goes down in bot, but another kill over to the side of ReGen Immortal. They're taking the lead in experience. They're taking the lead on structures. Stun onto Austin. That's going to be a kill, not respecting how much damage that Glass Cannon Li Ming can do. It's going to stem the bleeding on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. And with that, halting the push in mid helps even things out for them. Next objective, not really a priority for ReGen Immortal. They're definitely looking, or I'm sorry, for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, definitely looking to secure level 16. They are not strictly favored in this fight, with no point of safety to return to. Gingimax positioning on the far side of the objective, doing a good job to get out to a safe position. 37% of the objective channel secure for ReGen Immortal. And in bot lane, we've got Rift returning the favor on the split push. Kalkin gets a massive 3-person stun. Jaeger ripping the Disintegrate, unable to secure a kill. Level 16s on both sides. We've got the Mirror Ball available to Jaeger on the Li Ming. That is a lot of potential damage. And level 20 is nearing the longer the game goes. That's going to be a big power spike for Protoss Rule. Half of the top fort falling, but with Falstad close to arriving, that is stacks complete on the side of Eric here. Black Soul Stone also finished out by random task. Bottom fort was secured by Rift. They are working on that mid fort now, daring any of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers to respond to their push, and it looks like Kalkin is going to do just that. We'll see how Rift plays it if they look for a fly. Protoss Rule blowing, or using rather, the thrusters, and losing the objective is not unheard of or unwelcome for the side of ReGen Immortal. This gives Eric here a free hero to stack on. Holy shnikes! That was a lot of damage from Jaeger. On the top side of the fight, Gingimax taking so much damage, able to spook away, but Kalkin is there for a follow-up stun. All of ReGen Immortal escape. Great timing from Eric here on the Tastingo. Unavailable now, so it's going to make defending on the Sergeant Hammer very difficult. Gingimax falling low. Ancient Blessings popped by Kurama here. Stun onto Jaeger. Draws the phase shift. And in mid, we've got Falstad pushing away. Entomb is available, but not all of ReGen are here to fight. Looks like that's going to be a kill onto Gingimax. That's a reset for Jaeger. Going to get another kill onto Austin. A powerful objective, still very high health bars on the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. They are likely to continue pushing here. Rift should probably Hearth to defend the core here. With Protoss Rule on the Sergeant Hammer, they are able to do a lot of damage to the core if they choose to stick around. Looks like they are uninterested. Level 20 is now a half level away for the side of ReGen Immortal. They will achieve their Storm talents ahead of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers, but they also have to deal with constant catapult pressure in top lane. They do have Falstad. The global is a boon in that scenario, able to get from a distant lane to a team fight in timely fashion. And Eric here is really wailing away now. 48 stacks of You Want Axe. Really starting to ramp up that auto attack damage. Diablo and Blaze both likely to feel the brunt of that. 72 stacks on the Arcanet Axes level 7 as well. So we'll see ReGen Immortal with Storm talents happy to step up and free siege the keep soft siege the key, perhaps. Ancient Blessings popped by Kurama, taking a lot of damage from Protoss Rule here. A quarter of a level from Storm Talents. We'll see if 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers are able to hold on. Lots of damage onto Jaeger. That is 1 W from Eric here, putting them down to half HP. Perhaps getting a proc of wrong place, wrong time there. The crit damage on the apex of the Arcanite axes. Stun onto Diablo. Austin just doing what they can to zone. A sleep from Kurama. Catches 2. Austin... Oh man, so much damage onto Rift. 20s on both sides. Random Task taking so much damage. Kalkin as well. Eric here still has the ult available. Phase shift onto the Diablo. Is going to live. So much damage falling onto Gingy Mechs. There goes the Diablo. First blood over to the side of ReGen Immortal. No resets for Jaeger. And with 2 camps pushing on the side of our red team, we'll see if they're able to get much done. Of course, Diablo is respawned, able to take advantage of that Black Soulstone. Whew, that was a tense one. In bot lane, we've had catapult pressure building for 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers. We've got our ReGen Immortal folks getting onto the objective, getting onto their turret, cleaning up all of that lane pressure. And Gingy Mechs at about half HP probably would love some floor juice from Deckard. ReGen Immortal all kind of funneling in through the same choke. We can see Gingy Mechs trying to ward them off. This standoff does favor ReGen Immortal as it stands. They are getting objective progress while this goes on. Gingy Mechs does have the Silence and Tomb. We'll see if they are able to land it. First kill gets a reset for Jaeger. Austin pops the ultimate, able to get out alive. Stuns now onto both damage dealers. That's a kill onto the Falstad. A decisive engage. Eric here unable to pop their ultimate. The flip from Diablo securing the kill. With that, 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers rotate towards top lane. Deckard and Muradin unlikely to fend off the push from Protoss Rule and Jaeger. Blue team are well situated here.
Red team's core is under attack.
We'll see if ReGen Immortal are able to spawn for any length of time. Looks like Muradin's falling very low. Austin might fall here. The reset does not come through, but the core shielding is almost gone. 3 catapults now on the side of red team. A silence onto Hammer. Doesn't stop her from auto-attacking. Core down to 30% HP shortly. Wow. Hammer taking a lot of damage from Austin, but that's another kill here. Kalkin looking for the stun, does not land. Sleep lands onto Diablo. Gingy Mechs, a great gust from Rift, fending blue team off the core here. Kurama doing a lot to keep all of the teammates alive. And 45 core HP is where they'll stall out. Diablo respawned once again with that Black Soulstone, and 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers back up to the healing camp. A excellent stagger of ultimates on the side of ReGen Immortal. A challenging siege to deter. Looks like we've got 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers taking over this turret camp, understanding that with Muradin still waiting to respawn, they have room to get these invades. Item advantage strongly to the side of 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers now. We've got Rift stacking minion waves and a camp up in top lane here. The Boomerang and Gathering Storm getting a lot of wave clear out. So this is going to, at a minimum, relieve that catapult pressure in top. We'll see who 30-50 Feral Hoggers send to respond. We've got Kalkin sitting on the objective here. Ultimates almost all up. Now available with Tazdingo secured. Objective progress about even, but counting up for our red team. A catapult left in top lane, but that will be cleaned up by catapults of their own. Here come 30-50 Feral Hoggers. Eric here doing so much damage with these autos. Random Task able to get in to proc overtime. Kalkin looking for a stun here, perhaps. Pops the Pyromania. A huge gust. Rift is falling low, though. Eric here. Oh, there's the kill onto Li Ming. No reset potential here. Eric here still has their ult available to them. Protoss rule falling very low. There goes the Tostingo. Kalkin stun misses. The stupid freaking belts mess everything up. Kalkin falling low. That's a kill. Austin gets the leap onto Protoss rule. There's the stun and the kill. Random Task looking for the escape. No souls available for them. Gonna fall here. 99% available, and it looks like ReGen Immortal are gonna go secure the Protector. The Silence in Tomb from Leoric, able to catch Jaeger there, really making the difference in these team fights, shutting down that Li Ming damage and getting the punishment onto the low HP of a silence kill, a silence onto Akari. That's going to be a 5-hero wipe. Jaeger is going to spawn. That is a scary hero to have spawn. Jaeger has the potential to wipe anyone, but with the robot on the core, that's going to be all she wrote. Well played to both teams. A nail-biting defense in our third game. GG, well played. And so it is a win for our... Oh, that's not what I want. It is a win for our red team, ReGen Immortal, able to clean it up in 3, fend off 30-50 Feral Hoggers, maintain their 4th spot in the standings. Really well played to them. Taking a look at our stats. So much damage coming in from Sergeant Hammer in that late game. That is thanks largely to that Ultra Capacitors. 60% increased attack speed is kind of bonkers. Perfect Gems from Kurama on the Deckard. Not a talent that I am used to seeing there. And let's see if ReGen Immortal are available for an interview. Get one of them in here and chat about their win. An excellent 3-game series from both of these teams. Love to see these games go the distance. That doesn't look quite right. What's going on, Soothsayer? Try and refresh that, perhaps. There we go. And, of course, the map win going over to ReGen. And it looks like we will have our interview. Hey there, Kurama. Let me just throw us over to our interview scene so all the fine folks out in TV land can hear you.
Sounds good.
And here we are. I'm live with ReGen Immortal Karama, that was a heck of a defense on Volskaya. Talk me through what the comms were like for you guys during that final hold.
Comms were pretty much me just saying, I have Ruby, I have Ruby, I have Ruby. And Eric saying, Gingy, just pick up the rubies and go ham. That's pretty much what that was.
Excellent, excellent. And the Entomb on that final point C fight, able to catch Jaeger and punish the low health pool of the Glass Cannon Li Ming. They were doing a great job for most of that game, kind of staying out of your guys' threat range. When they last picked the hammer, what was the thought process? Was that a concern? Was that something you guys expected to see from Feral Hoggers?
I mean, they've ran it one time before on Tomb of the Spider Queen. So it wasn't something that was like a complete surprise. I would say it made us, take a second thought at, what we wanted to pick, because I think we had the last pick with Falstad there. So it kind of made us, question like what we wanted, if we wanted something like more pressure to kill Hammer or displacement. Like we thought about Junkrat, we thought about Chromie, and we thought about Falstad, and we kind of just went with what felt good, and I think we got value out of the Gusts. Lots of value out of Gust, lots of value out of Entomb that game. So.
Oh yeah, and Rift did a fantastic job getting a lot of value out of the global as well. Responding to the split push from the Hammer, able to do split push of their own, keeping pressure off of your top lane after that top keep went down. Really well played from the entire team. I wanted to ask about other games that we played in this series, and so I am looking. Battlefield of Eternity. Alright, fan theory of mine. ReGen Immortal likes Battlefield of Eternity because you fight for immortals.
Correlation, it's not necessarily true or not.
Shucks. Yeah, that makes sense.
I came up with the name based off the Protoss unit, because I used to play StarCraft a lot. And then we also... I like, the Protoss characters in game, so that kind of fit the theme. And then a lot of us, myself, and Eric, have been with the ReGen organization for a very long time now.
It looked like a lot of you guys...
And Austin has been with us as like a sub previously. He's playing main roster this season.
Yeah, ReGen
so a lot of us guys have
Nebula
been with
last
ReGen.
season?
Yeah. Yes. I was with ReGen Nebula with Murda and the rest of the guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome to see that longevity from a squad. Last but not least, Tomb of the Spider Queen. The Stukov pick was one that got banned out in that first map. You really made it shine on Tomb of the Spider Queen, as well as Austin on the Diablo. Is the Stukov a signature pick for you, would you say? Is that something that teams ought to keep banning?
I mean, if they're going to let me play it, I'm going to play it.
It looks
if they want to ban it, I got plenty of other stuff I can play. So it's just kind of a matter of if they feel they struggle into Stukov or not.
Yeah, and you did look very comfortable on all of the other heroes.
Yeah, if it's banned against me, it doesn't really hinder what I have to play. But if another team doesn't play well into it, yeah, they should probably ban it, because I like to think I do pretty well with it. So
I have to agree. Resetting the fights with flailing swipes, getting huge silence puddles, it looked scary. Not surprised to have it banned out. That does it for questions from me. Before I let you get out of here and celebrate with the team, any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to my team. I think we bounced back today. We had a rough set last week where we kind of were kicking ourselves in the butt. We thought we should have performed better. So that was a little bit rough last week. So we kind of had a reset over the weekend. Came into tonight. Little shaky early on. Eric got held up at work.
Yeah, the
so
roster-
shout out to
the
shout out
roster's
to
top.
Murda.
Yeah.
Shout out to Murda for filling in last minute. I literally messaged him and said, "We got like 10 minutes till we forfeit. Can you get here?" And
That's
he,
a real mensch.
he showed up, and he hasn't played in a while. And given that, like,
Didn't show.
he had a pretty great game.
Yeah,
a
those
lot of
leaps
good,
were
good
crazy.
plays.
Super
So
well
shout out
played
to him. Shout out to 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers for a great set. Well played. Shout out to you for the cast. And last but not least, always got to shout out Mom. So shout out to Mom.
Hell yeah, we love our moms. Well, I'll let you get out of here. Thank you for the interview, Karama. Well played to you.
Thank you.
Catch you next time.
Yep.
So that's going to do it here for our cast. 30 to 50 Feral Hoggers coming out with a spicy game 1, but ReGen Immortal able to take it in the end. A excellent 3-game series. Love to see the level of play out of our B East teams. The standings stay as they are for now. And so the top is looking pretty competitive. I'll be excited to see how those continue to shake up for the rest of the season. Well played to both teams. Credit where credit is due. Everyone played extraordinarily well. And speaking of credits, if you want to get any information for any of the artists and programmers who provide assets to the stream, please check out the credits below the video. You can also do exclamation mark credits in chat for links to all of their stuff. That's going to be it from me, the sound. Thank you to everyone for tuning in and watching. The NGS community is a huge supportive thing, and it's always great to have people come watch and play. So thank you to everyone for keeping the scene alive. That's going to do it for me. I've been the sound. You've all been great. Good luck, have fun, peace, and love.